Hello, welcome to my channel. We're gonna watch today, guys, a video from Indonesia military. How strong is it? Let's watch. If you guys want more about them, please comment down below and let's go.
Indonesia's military has slowly become one of the world's largest armed forces. According to
Okay,
the Global Firepower, they ranked Indonesia in 2024 as 13 out
okay.
of 145 nations.
Wow,
The
that's
archipelago
so
nation is slowly
high.
becoming a military superpower, one that may one day rival that of China, India, and the United States. Today,
No
however,
way.
Indonesia is still just one of many regional military powers. They have the strength that may rival that of some European countries or large South American military forces. But to understand
Okay,
just how big and strong Indonesia's military is, let's discuss its size, equipment used, and future plans. The
okay,
first and most important factor of Indonesia's military is size and structure. Indonesia's military is big. It reflects the country's population and
no.
economy. Indonesia today has a GDP of about 1.48 trillion US dollars, as
Oh my
published by
God.
the International Monetary Fund, IMF, making it one of the world's largest economies. The country's population, on
Okay,
the
that's
other
a
hand,
lot.
sits at
That's good.
approximately 279 million
Oh,
people,
that's
which
a
makes it
lot
the
of
fourth
people.
largest globally. These two indicators are
Four?
already important for a country's military might. For a
Wow.
country to have a big and formidable military, they must need a big economy and a huge amount
Mm,
of people. The economy
mm.
will support a country's military equipment, whether they can buy
Okay.
state-of-the-art fighter jets, submarines, and tanks, or they have
Mm.
the resources and technology to build their own equipment locally. The
Okay.
population, on the other hand, is also important because it allows a country to deploy people who will use these equipment in times of war. These are
Okay.
simply the reasons why Indonesia has a big chance to become a global superpower, because it has the people
Wow.
and a big future economy. Now let's discuss
Alright.
the
Bro, what a
structure of
good
the Indonesian military. The Indonesian military is more commonly known as the
speech, actually.
Indonesian
I like it.
National Armed Forces. The National Armed
It's
Forces
talking
is
very
then
well.
divided into three branches: the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Each serves a distinct role in the military branches. The Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Each
Okay.
serves a distinct role in the military capabilities of Indonesia. The Global Firepower estimates that Indonesia currently has 1,050,000 military personnel,
Wow.
400,000 of which are active, and another 400,000 are reserve personnel, and 250,000 are paramilitary. The Air Force
Oh
personnel
my God.
consists of 30,100. The Army personnel are about 300,400, and the Navy
Wow.
personnel sits at 66,034. Let's
Okay.
now talk about each of these branches and their capabilities. Let's start with the Army, which is the most vital piece of Indonesia's defense capabilities. The Indonesian Army
Okay.
has several equipment ranging from basic uniforms to handheld weaponries and ground vehicles, such as tanks and artillery. A big piece of what makes Indonesia's
Okay.
army formidable are its tanks and artillery. Its
Mm.
tanks are many, and they come from all across the world. Some from Germany, Turkey, France, the
Okay.
Netherlands, and so on. The most famous as of yet is none
Bro,
other than
our country,
Indonesia
Turkey.
are many, and they come from all across the world. Some from Germany, Turkey, France, the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and so on. The
Our
most
flag.
famous
Yeah.
as of yet is none other than Indonesia's Leopard 2 from Germany. In 2016, the Indonesian Army received the initial 8 units
Okay.
of a total of 61 Leopard 2A4 third-generation main battle tanks, or MBTs. These Leopard 2A4s are touted as some of Southeast Asia's most advanced and lethal battle tanks. These
That's it.
deliveries from Germany are part of a larger defense deal that includes 103 Leopard main battle tanks, 42 upgraded Marder 1A3 infantry
Wow.
fighting vehicles, as well as a selection of 10 specialized vehicles for armored recovery, mobile bridging, and military engineering, all sourced from surplus German army stocks. Besides the Leopard, the Indonesian army also took in the Harimau
Okay.
medium tank, as a result of a collaboration between PT Pindad and Turkey's FNSS defense
Turkey.
systems. It was reported that unlike the Leopard 2, the Harimau medium tank combat weight is approximately 35 tons, which enables the
Oh.
tank to access less developed roads and bridge networks. The contract between the Harimau medium
Yeah.
tank started way back in 2015, when the governments
Whoa.
of Indonesia and
It's getting
Turkey
more faster.
agreed to co-develop the modern medium weight tank, or MMWT, for the Indonesian army, anticipating a development phase of about 37 months months with a budget of $30 million.
Mm.
This partnership aimed to enhance the Army's capabilities with a new tank
Well,
design
look at the
initially named the MMWT
money.
and
Oh my
later
God,
known
that
as the Haramau. The
always in
collaboration
air.
included sharing intellectual property rights. The tank, featuring a 35-ton design equipped with a Belgian-made Cockerel
Okay.
105mm rifled barrel turret, was first unveiled in Indonesia in 2016.
Hmm.
Armament-wise, the Haramau features a 105mm Cockerel 3105 turret, capable of high-pressure fires, and is equipped with a standard 105mm rifled gun, a
All right.
7.62mm coaxial machine gun,
Wow.
and optional machine guns for additional defense, supported by smoke grenade launchers. Now, let's talk about the
Incredible.
artillery used by the Indonesian army. One of them is Turkey's Khan missile system. This was announced
Yeah, it came from Turkey again.
around 2022, and it made Indonesia the first foreign user of the equipment. The system was designed to have
Wow.
a range of 208 kilometers and high
Wow.
precision on the battlefield. It weighs about 2,500 kilograms with a 407 kilogram high explosive warhead. Now let's move on to talk about Indonesia's Navy, the
That
other
was
vital
sick.
piece of the country's defense. Arguably, the Navy is the most important of the three branches, simply because
Wow.
Indonesia is an archipelago nation
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
thousands
yeah, yeah,
upon
yeah, yeah.
thousands of islands. The Navy deploys several
Yeah.
equipment ranging from submarines to warships. The most important, of course, is none other than the Indonesian Navy's submarine fleet. There are currently 3 fleets, 2 of which are active, and 1 is still in ongoing order. The ones that Indonesia currently deploy is the Nagapasa class and Cochrane class. The Nagapasa class is a
Okay.
diesel-electric attack submarine. It's part of a contract valued at $1.02 billion. The Indonesian Ministry of Defense and DSME collaborated on the construction of 3
That's
Nagapasa-class
allowed.
submarines. DSME will build 2 submarines, and the third will be constructed by PT PAL in Indonesia, benefiting from a technology transfer. This will allow PT PAL to utilize both DSME and its own fabricated sections. The Nagapasa-class submarines are modeled after the DSME improved Shangbogo design, itself an evolution of the German Type 209-1400 design from ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS. These submarines measure 61.3 meters in length, have a beam of 6.3 meters, and a draft of 5.5 meters, with a displacement of 1,400 tons. They are equipped with 4 MTU 12-volt 493 diesel generators, enabling speeds of up to 21.5 knots submerged and 11 knots when surfaced. Armament includes 8 torpedo tubes that are capable of deploying Black Shark heavy torpedoes and submarine-launched mines. The Cochrane class, on the other hand, is also a diesel-electric attack submarine. It was built by the Hollwaartswerke Deutsche Werft and retrofitted by Daewoo. It was commissioned in 1991 and rejoined the fleet in 2005. These submarines, measuring 59.5 meters in length and featuring a beam of 6.2 meters, are capable of reaching speeds up to 21.5 knots while submerged. They have the endurance to stay underwater for approximately 50
Wow.
days without needing to surface. Equipped with advanced weaponry, they can launch 21-inch SUT heavyweight torpedoes that are domestically manufactured. The future submarine is a Scorpene deal with France. The details are still unknown since it was signed just a few months ago, but this already shows the future path
Oh
of
my God.
Indonesia's army, one that consistently upgrades and meets the demands of the 21st century. Aside from submarines, the Navy also deploys several warships. One of them is called the Ahmad Yani class. It is an old
Wow.
frigate that was built back in the late 1960s. Another
No
one is
way.
the
That's
Marta
been
Dinata
long
class
time.
frigate, which is a rather newly built
Wow.
frigate built by the Damen Scheld Naval Shipbuilding from the Netherlands. Finally, let's talk about the last piece of Indonesia's defense capabilities, its Air Force. The Indonesian Air
Wow.
Force operates several combat aircrafts. One of them, most advanced,
Okay.
is the Dassault Rafale from France. The contract, however, is still fairly recent. The Indonesian and
I'm
French
definitely
government
sure
signed this back in just
they're
2022 for a total
becoming
of
more
42
powerful
jets, costing them a massive
in
8.1
1 year.
billion US dollars. The Air Force also operates several
God.
F-16 Fighting Falcon from the United States. They recently completed the Falcon Star and MLU upgrade on the 5th F 16 in 2021. Another
Wow.
aircraft is the Sukhoi Su-30 from Russia. It was reported to be delivered back in 2013. As reported, it was delivered in unassembled form by the Komsomolskna
Oh
Amur
my God.
Aircraft Production Association, or KNAPO. The aircraft had completed the Indonesian Air Force's Sukhoi fighter jet squadron, bringing the total to 16 Su-27 SKM and Su-30 Mk2 planes, according to Xinhua. Furthermore, the Indonesian
Okay.
Defense Minister Purnomo Yuskiantoro was quoted by local media that Indonesia has invested around $1.17 billion on procurement of the 16 aircraft, along with ammunition, pilot training, and logistic packages. Now, we've discussed several key equipment deployed by the three branches of Indonesia's military. However, there is still so much more equipment that the country deploys. The final part in understanding how big they are is their military spending. How much does the Indonesian government spend on its military? They spend about $9 billion per year. In 2022,
Wow.
it was reported that they
That's a
set
lot.
aside 9.3 billion. Then a year later, it was reduced to just about 8.8 billion. However, they had also reported it was reduced to just about 8.8 billion. However, they had also
Okay.
reported a 125
That's a lot.
billion arms procurement budget plan in 2021. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Procurement budget plan in 2021. 125 billion arms procurement budget plan in 2021.
Okay. Anyway, let's end. If you guys want to know about that, please comment down below, guys, and thank you.